Here, and now you're going to find out why the players do not like Malika Andrews. And this is a real situation, people. They really don't like her. And we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this situation here, and you're going to find it out, especially what's going on. What's up, Bear Outlaw? Yeah, I'm getting ready to get out of here myself. Got the games and stuff going on. What's up, HD? I don't know if HD finna do his 24 hours of power. He do his 24 hours of football. That is crazy. I don't know how he do it. I'll be exhausted and passed out. I was like, man, he got a lot of energy to continuously do that. And don't forget to follow him too. Follow Ticket TV, Kwame Brown Bus Life. Definitely here, Carcino for Life. The chefs all day, huh? Okay. I don't think I got the chefs this week. I got the Colts covering the spread. But let's get to it. Now, here's why the players don't like it. Malika Andrews came into this game different. She was a hack. She came in, grew up in the Bay. Then she got shipped out to Utah to go to a mental health facility because she couldn't deal with all the stuff that was going on in her life at home and everything else. She started freaking out, having these panic attacks and these mood swings. This is what they don't want you to know about Malika Andrews. So she used to have these weird attacks where she screamed and was attacking her family and everything and was depressed. So they sent her to a facility all the way out in Utah to get her brain back together, right? Very vital key piece here. She come back. She said it was the best thing that ever happened in her life and fixed her whole life, right? Again, none of this has anything to do with sports. So she wanted to go into the field of just creative writing and talk about the world, but that's too broad, it's too far, and it's too broad, and she's not as skilled as everyone else in that field. It's too many people competing. She couldn't compete. So what was out there that she could get into? Sports. Now, of course, she would write and report on the games. She would do the Portland Trailblazers. She would go on any little thing that they had on the Beacon or all of these different things. So Malika Andrews would seek out to do these little pop-ups every here and now. Here and now. Here's another pop-up. Malika Andrews pop-up. And she was doing, basically with YouTube shorts, she was doing little short pieces. And those little short pieces are documented work. And she was saying, we spoke on Brett Favre. We did a whole live on Brett Favre. What are you talking about? Brett was one of my favorite players playing the game. But what he did was sleazy. We talked about Brett. So you can go in the timeline, you'll see it. So when Malika Andrews started to come on with sports, she was doing basically little bit work. And then she was working for Yahoo and doing a little writing for the Portland Trailblazers. They needed somebody to write something on the game. She would do some intern work. And this is what happened. This is what happened. You see, when you have someone like Malika Andrews that come up and not from the sports world, they said, oh, wow, she's easy on the eyes. who is this Malika Andrews? And they look at her profile, and she realizes the way to get up there was to network. No, she's Dave McMenamin. And Dave McMenamin is signed with LeBron James. She knew and how to get in and get in good. She told you this is how she got on. People didn't listen and didn't pay attention. People tell you who they are and what you need to do to get on. And she'll tell you, you gotta balance both of your hands. And she's trying to teach her sister, who's also a journalist now, but she's out there in the Bay at NBC, teaching her sister how to get on. This is how she got on. She hustled. She wanted to be more than just a pretty face. She is like, I'm gonna go out here and get my groove on. Watch this.
Told me early on, clips aren't your journal. Clips aren't your poetry. Clips aren't your schoolwork. Clips are published work. And so I was on a mission to get that work. But I think my secret sauce, if you will, was at the same time, I think you have to be, and I told Kendra this, while you have to be working on your craft on your right hand, in your left hand, you have making sure you're networking with people. So you can't just have one or the other. You can't just know everybody but not have the substance. You can't just have the substance but not know anyone, because the dirty secret of this industry is that people gravitate towards who they know. And so I wanted to make sure that I was getting to know folks around this industry so that when it came time for me to be looking for a job, it was, oh, I recognize this name on this resume. But that also involved, my partying days in college were freshman year, because after that, there was just a steep decline in my Jungle Juice days. So that was kind of the trade-off.
So that's her sister. That's the little baby sister. That's her. So she told you. It's all about who you know. She told you that coming through the doors about who you know. Yep, I'm exhausted, B. But she's telling you it's all about who you know. Now, for her, she got picked up by Wojo. Wojo brought her to the table. Wojo said, hey, who is that? And brought her around. So Adrian Wojnarowski got some information from her, because she had some insight on what was going on, because she was in the town covering some event that happened in Portland. So Portland was in the news that week. So she had the first drop on it, because she was there, she was reporting on it, so she knew what was going on. So Woj got his breaking news. Woj got a report, and it came from Malika Andrews. So he said, you know what? You did all right for me here. I'm going to bring you under my wing. So he brings up Malika Andrews. And Malika Andrews, what people don't realize, and this is why the players don't like her, a lot of them are just disgusted with her, is the fact that she really doesn't know anything about basketball. And that is why a lot of the NBA basketball players can't stand her, because she comes in on the agenda and she's basically hitting angles. She promotes and push her direction into sports about race on women. It's always about race, women, equality. She's on that trope. She's not talking about the game. She's not talking about the players. She's talking about women, race, equality, and that's it. Yeah. So that's how she got to where she was. But it caused a lot of problem. Richard Jefferson didn't even want to work with her and come into the studio. Long as they were doing the camera shots, it was fine. She never knew she would be promoted this fast. It was never intended for her to be there this fast. She was never supposed to be promoted this fast at all. The Rachel Nichols situation propelled her up to the top. She came in during the pandemic. Nobody knew about this chick until 2020. And they was like, man, where's this? Yeah, who this chick is? Where'd she come from? Nobody knew about anything. And with the Maria Taylor situation going on, Maria Taylor was the face. She was the one that was finna run the whole ship and do everything. And the negotiations, because she knew her worth, ESPN was like, I don't think we could do that. You know, you're a tall, you're black. Like you have black husbands, black kids. There's just no white in here. It's just too white for me. So it's too black for them. So they weren't going for that. Now here's this half Jewish girl, half white, half black, half Jewish, dating a white guy. They like, oh, wait a minute, who is this? And Wojnarowski's like, oh, this is this is Malika Andrews. She was, I brought her in. Oh well, yeah, we could do something with her. Yeah, we'll let her do a couple of segments for us. And that's all she used to do. She used to come in, do some sideline reporting here and there, and that was it. She started out in the pandemic. Then after the pandemic, she went over to start, and she wasn't sleeping with none of the players. And they were like, hey, wait a minute. This girl doesn't sleep with the players? She's got a boyfriend who's another writer? Oh, this is great. She dated him because she knew she wanted to get on. Yeah, she's more in line with her Jewish side than her black side. Now, and hit the like button for this. This is where it gets interesting. This is why she's always on these topics. Because LeBron James and his people, and they're all in line with Malika Andrews. So they like her. Because Dave McMilliman knows that she's going to do exactly what they want her to do. She's woke. She's liberal. She's all of these things except for what do she know about sports? She's headlining a show called entitled NBA Today. That stands for the National Basketball Association Today on ESPN. And she's not talking about basketball. She's always bringing up some political angle, some women rights crap, and some other crap. So she comes out as, I'm going to defend women's rights and all of these things when no one asked her to. And she's coming in here, that's like not what her job is. And she's deliberately doing this stuff. And she's been put in charge as Maria Andrews has went on to NBC, got her money, and she's doing quite well. She's paid over there. Meanwhile, Rachel Nichols had to go, and while Rachel's was gone, Who else would they promote? Malika Andrews, who's only been there 1 year, less than a year, and now she's running the whole ship. What the hell is going on here? Because they knew we're gonna say, "Oh right, a sister." All right, they're giving the sisters a chance. But this is a reason why the players really don't like Malika Andrews, because they feel she doesn't know enough about sports. Yep, they don't think she knows enough about sports to be efficient, or what they would say in the proper frame of mind to have a debate show. So you see people like Richard Jefferson completely lose it when she makes asinine statements week after week after week. But what makes it bad is like, okay, we understand that you don't know sports like everyone else knows sport, but you try to check and correct those who've actually played it. So that's what really irritates them, is when they're telling you something, you don't listen. Malika Andrews act as if she don't have to know. And that's what pisses them off. Is like, you don't respect what we do, but want us to bow down to you. We're telling you from a frame of, we know what we're talking about. You don't. But she, instead of just going on or saying she's wrong, she just tries to act like she's the woman and she's being attacked. And she's the victim. This has happened so many times, and this is what pisses off people. Like, all of the NBA players that had to go up there and do a panel with her, most NBA players just say, I don't want to go on there because I don't want to feel like talking about race issues. Like if we want to talk about the game, let's talk about the game. I don't want to do a race issue thing. And a lot of players has told her, no, I don't want to interview with you because of that. Because she's going to ask me about what do I think about this or women right. I just don't want to get into that. I just want to talk basketball. So a lot of situations has went in different directions. Well, true to it. You have to think back to, yeah, you got to think back to when Perk came on there, and they just wouldn't back down. They would have other guests on there, and Matt Barnes was trying to mediate the situation, was trying to like talk to her off the air and tell her to, you got to like relax a little bit. You're too overbearing, like this is my show, my reputation's on the line, everyone's looking at me. You guys have already made it. You guys had a career and went through there. You're retired. So you don't have to be good at this. I have to be good at this. My show has to be good. It's me. There, everyone's looking at me, and I can't fail. So I have to do this, or the next person's in line waiting to take my position. So I have to be good, and I have to be on point. So you don't know the pressures. So, and they're like, yes, we do, and yeah, we want to be good at what we do too. We're gonna have more scrutiny than you. And that's what he's like, look, you want to talk to me about pressures and what I had to go through? So Matt Barnes is trying to tell her what's what when Richard Jefferson loses it completely. Oh yeah, other players have come on the show and they agree with the guys, and she thinks it's toxic masculinity. And then, they start doing takes, and the guys are making their points, and then she just out of nowhere would bring up something that's not even related to try to promote an agenda, to try to promote LeBron James. And that's what her normal take is. She just tried to tear Kobe Bryant down and his Laker teams that he played on to try to highlight LeBron James. And this is the take what people do when they don't know sports. They just try to go with the popular opinion of let me just defend LeBron James. And people who were there was like, oh my God, what is she doing? Like, we cannot even let you do that. You sound like somebody on Twitter. And you get exactly, she gets paid for this. So that's why a lot of people were disturbed when she said that. Oh yeah, of course they're making her do that. You got Wojnarowski, you have Dave McMenamin, and all of these people are linked to Clutch Sports, and this is what they do at Clutch. She's not loved there. And it's because her attitude is very combative. She don't know how to take constructive criticism. It's a shame, but Big Perk don't really like her too much. This whole set of NBA today is gonna have to flip around. Oh, she doesn't like Richard Jefferson. Richard Jefferson don't like her. They do not. It's like oil and water, and they got to work together on this show. Look how they weren't even in the same location, and they were ready to kill each other. Like, she was combative with Richard Jefferson, and he was only trying to make her understand or get her to understand what it is that was going on the scene. $100. Now, the person who discovered her is right there, Wojnarowski. He brought her on and saw her working at the Beacon and wanted to bring her on in. Now, you got 3 NBA players here who played in the league. They'll tell you from their perspective what is going on, and she could not let it go. She could not let it go. She had to be right. Why? Because she was going to protect the Golden State Warriors. She was going to protect the players, and she was going to say, well, they're talking about the Gary Payton, the incident where Brooks hit him, and as them being players, the play was dirty to them because they've cleaned that up out of basketball because guys could get hurt from doing those type of moves. So they were saying they might send a message by suspending him 2 games, just even though he didn't intended to for be the end result of him breaking his arm. The fact that he went and made that move, he went to foul him hard. So him doing that, just that was the end result of it. But still, those type of plays could end up ending someone's career. And, and it's just an unspoken code like, oh, we don't do that. We don't go after players like that. Because we all respect that could end someone's career. And she doesn't understand or get what they're trying to say because she only cares about what she wants to say. And this leads to why guys in the locker room normally have a problem with Malika Andrews.
Situation when they was basically
keeps it from being 2 games, but I think he's probably going to at least miss a game, especially given that there was a significant injury suffered by Peyton.
I see you, Matt, and RJ shaking your heads at Richard. What are you thinking about all this?
Like, I hear mention in itself because he was out mid.
See, they don't like Wojnarowski and Malika Andrews. And when you see that come through, when he started
about what Steve Kerr said about
yeah.
the play.
Now, see, here's the thing. This shows it all. You see that? Wojnarowski is finna echo everything she's saying. And they're gonna just be opposed to every bit that's going on. Watch this.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're gonna refer to something like that, that means you have no feel of what these NBA players even talking about. So that means you're
now watch this. He's gonna roll his head. Oh no. RJ and her are like oil and water. They don't get along at all.
In itself because he was out, missed 3.5 quarters.
Look at them, they all shaking their head.
Keeps it from being 2 games, but I think he's probably going to at least miss a game, especially given that there was a significant injury.
Now look, she's ready.
You're shaking your heads at Richard. What are you thinking about all this?
Like, I hear what Woj is saying. I don't care if it was 1 second in the game or 1 second left to go in the game. Right. It, like, that type of stuff is inexcusable, mainly because his season is potentially over. So I just, for me personally, as a player, you don't want to see that happen. But this, for people that have said, it's like, oh, well, that was basically like, I feel like it was. He was already out. But I just feel like that is too much. And when you look at any player, it doesn't matter, an important player, if it's an all-star.
He's explaining to the team.
Any player you put in that
Any
position,
player.
that type of injury, 1 second to go in the game,
Watch
or 1
this.
second starting that game, it doesn't matter.
Frankly, it's hard to keep watching that video over and over.
All right, here goes the question right here.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
For those who didn't play in the league, can you just explain briefly the code that Kerr is referring to and whether or not you believe it was broken?
I think it was broken.
Okay, she asked their question, their opinion right now. You know what I'm saying? For those who play in the league. So that means you're asking 3 guys that play in the league with a ton of experience. Like these guys, they know what they got. In between all these guys, them 3, what's that? Over 30 years of experience. So you asking them about the situation and they're giving their opinion about it. And check this out. On the matter of fact, they give their opinion about it. Now, I'm gonna go into the meat and potatoes part. Because Kendrick Perkins really triggered it a little bit when he said that Dylan Brooks knew what he was doing. He didn't agree with that.
I'm with RJ. I'm with everybody on the panel. I think that Dylan Brooks should be suspended for game 3 and possibly game 4. Look, you have to clean this up. Look, we're talking about that. People saying we don't know if he did it intentionally. He fouled him on purpose.
Here you go.
Okay, let's get that out.
Now he's saying with intentions. Like I said, this guy don't want a ring, don't want a championship. You as a basketball player, you know. First of all, if you go back and look at the replay, when he was going up, he didn't even jump that high.
Yeah. Well, the thing is he's right. They're trying to get Malika Andrews to understand this is what we mean by breaking the code. It's nothing that's written on paper. It's nothing that they had a meeting about in the room. Hit the like button. This is something that was discussed clearly within the realms of basketball.
I mean, looking at the play,
You can't look at a person. Yeah, but you're making it
Yes, you
You
can.
can't look at a person and know what their intent was. It was a dangerous play regardless, but you can't. Okay. Please continue.
Okay, so
Do you see Richard Jefferson face right there?
Oh yeah,
Like, when
she's nice and pissed. Like she's nice and pissed off, and that pissed Richard Jefferson off because he's an entitled individual too. So it's beige rage all over the damn page. So right now, when she tells him, "Oh, I didn't know you was a mind reader," when he said, "Oh, I could tell," she didn't like the fact he was challenging Woj because Woj brought her into this. So it's finna hit the fan as soon as she tries to correct him when he says, "Oh, I can tell intent. You cannot read his mind and tell intent." Oh, yeah, we can.
Please continue.
Okay, so
So you see Richard Jefferson get pissed?
looking at the play,
You can't look at a person, yeah, you're making it
Yes, you can.
You can't look at a person and know what their intent was. It was a dangerous play regardless, but you can't, okay. I didn't realize you had Please continue.
Okay, so
That look he got, because it just, everybody, they're on a delay because they're all in different locations. They're all not in the same studio. So this was all doing like a Zoom call. So everybody's getting the audio later. You see Richard Jefferson's face when he got the message from her that she said,
Play regardless, but you can't, okay. I didn't realize you had Continue.
once it comes to his audio and his mic, he wouldn't hear what she said and said, "I didn't know you was a mind reader."
okay.
That's what happened when it first came through. Once it came through, when she said, "Oh, I didn't know you was a mind reader," but okay, keep going. And coming with that attitude, Richard Jefferson is about to educate her ass. Yeah, because it just came through what she said. And she's got that, you ain't gonna tell me nothing and And now, that's why I said her buffer, Matt Barnes. He always try to buff it up with the players, like, she's young, she'll figure it out, and this and that. Richard Jefferson don't give a damn. You better get it together, especially talking around me. And Woj is like, "Oh God, Malika, please chill out." He brought her in. And then Perk is just, "Man, I'm just trying to get my point across." So he's not really picking up on what's going on here. But yeah, she's got a lot of attitude, a lot of arrogance, but she knows very little about the sport. She knows very little about the sport. No one notices this except for the players. They can tell who knows the sport and who doesn't. So they okay, like, oh, all right, she doesn't know that much, but she knows basic, but she's easy on the eyes. So let's just help her out. We do our show, we all get paid, we go home. But to try to dictate to them what is what and try to like minimize people who had experience in this field, you got some nerve, Missy. And this is how Richard Jefferson is looking at it. So he looking like, what? Are we serious right now? This is what we're on? So now Richard Jefferson is hot. He's hot. It's not about the show
He
no more.
breaks it down and humbles her in a good ass way, you know, because she definitely needed it. She definitely needed it.
12. How old were you when you dunked the ball for the first time?
12.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back all the way. So
Yep.
he's breaking it down, getting
He
into
finna,
her head.
yeah, he finna get in her ass.
This happened with Dylan Brooks flagrant foul at Gary Payton II.
Look at
He's now out probably for the majority of the postseason, which is
He's
unfortunate.
finna clarify her point. Him being a mind reader.
When you dunked the ball for the first time?
21. 12.
12. How old were you when you dunked the ball for the first time?
12.
I was about 13 years old when I dunked the ball for the first time. I know what a fast break looks like. I had 4 months out in the season because I had my wrist taken out on a dunk. I know not necessarily the intent to hurt, but I know the intent to foul extremely hard, and that's the repercussions that come from that. But he knew what he was doing.
Now you trying to say, yes, that's correct. He knew he was talking about in the beginning.
Then you know, as any player, if I hit a guy like that, do I know what's going to happen? No. Do I know bad things can happen severely? Yes. So the intent is, you know the potential of what your act is going to do when you're doing it. And we see it all in real time, fast time. Matt pointed it out. If you're running full speed, you watch the play before. He's speeding up because you know he's going to try and take a ball. You do not swing and club like this trying to get a block shot from behind on a person that is in a vulnerable spot. So I love Dylan Brooks. I think he's a great player. I don't think he's a dirty player, but that, like Matt, or that, like Steve Kerr said, that was a dirty play. There's nobody in the NBA in any era that says that it wasn't.
And that is it. Right there. You see how she was put in check? You see how she was put in check? You see how she was put in check? It was that quick. Check, please. How you gonna tell them they can't gauge intent? Because you don't know the sport. They're telling you they know for a reason. Instead of asking them to elaborate, you're trying to take center stage and grandstand. And that's what she does a lot on the show. And saying, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were a mind reader. And that just pissed Richard Jefferson off. He was so pissed off. He's been pissed off with her. She's done this plenty of times on the show. And it was like, who is she? Who are you? You don't have the ground. And then when she did that with Stephen A., now it blew up in her face. And people are starting to go, hey, what's wrong with Malika Andrews? And people are starting to see now. All of her garbage is coming up now. All she wants to do is promote women and play the Black Lives Matter angle. That's all she is. She wants to talk about, I want to talk about Roe versus Wade. I want to talk about, that's all she's there for. She's there for all controversial topics. Yes. She wants to do all those pieces. She's not about sports. Sports was the only lane she could see to get into.
emails and questions about getting into the industry, to be a reporter, to be a host, to be on television, to be a writer. And I think that my number one advice when it comes to pursuing this career path, it starts on the writing side. I think no matter what you do, you cannot go wrong if your basis lies in facts, in questions, and then in putting all of that pen to paper. So you have to work on your craft over here. But I often say that you could be the most talented writer, the most polished on television, the best at asking questions, but if no one knows you exist, this industry, they want to hear about you from people they respect. And so there's something that's very special here with me today. It's one Mr. Mark Spears, who, when I was in college, Mark, he would take me to breakfast. Remember that little spot in Portland we used to go to? And he would go over all of my work, my articles. He would text me. He would tell editors about me. He championed me. Is he under the most pressure in the NBA this year, or is there someone else you're looking at?
Yep. But all the credit goes to Woj, because Woj is the one that brought you in. Nobody listened to Mark Spears. Then you start following this guy around. Why? Because LeBron James has this guy, Bryant Warthog, a guy who was on the couch over in Cleveland, wasn't even picked to write about any sports in Cleveland, even though Cleveland was the home of the losers. He was doing high school sports and then just started writing about LeBron James, and LeBron loved him, so he got him a job in the Cleveland newspaper. Got him down there with his connections, and then took him all the way to ESPN. So he's always been indebted with Clutch Sports and ESPN. Now she's interviewing him. Right, they groomed her for the job. So that's what she said. It's all about who you know. She's never going to change that in a million years. Richard Jefferson, as long as he's not in the room with her, Richard Jefferson will do his job, but he does not like this woman. They do not like each other whatsoever. Nobody really likes her. They both slapped each other with pie to try to cover up. You remember they did that? How many of y'all know they did this to try to make it look light? Like, no, they really friends. And they both slapped each other with a pie and all that stuff to try to make it look like they were all best of friends. That's called the politicking. Now, let's see some behind the scenes stuff. Now, they're live outside. Look at Richard Jefferson. Jefferson is trying to get, this is before they start shooting, right? Look at this. Richard Jefferson is like, I got a migraine. I really just want to get through this perk looking like it stank over here. What's going on? So they all getting ready for the show. The ladies are going. This is her show. She's ready to go. Richard Jefferson just like, look, let's get this over with so I can go home. And what does she want to do? She's, come on, Richard. Let's go. He's, oh my God. Richard Jefferson's like, right. I'm here to do a job. And I don't know what she's here to do. So and yeah, who can forget the infamous clip of them continuously talking about the Lakers coaching job, which they've already covered on like 2 segments, and Woj can't help himself but to keep going back there talking about the Lakers coaching job.
Woj yesterday regarding the Lakers' vacant head coaching position. What is the latest that you can tell us out of LA?
Yeah,
This they tried to make light of it, but it's the funniest thing ever because they were so pissed off they went right back to talking about the Lakers coaching job again. They already injected, okay, we've talked enough about the Lakers coaching job on 3 different segments. Why don't we move on and talk about something else? It was agreed that they were going to do some other stuff, and she went right back to it on the first segment. They just. Here we go again, man. She brought this up again. Richard Jefferson turns and looks at Perk. He's so disgusted that she just went and did this again. Y'all just don't know, but this is Woj's thing. So Woj wanted to bring it up. This is why he wasn't on the show for that segment. So he wanted to be able to go out there and put the Woj to it. Like what I'm hearing in the pics and all this. Like, people don't know how off Woj is all the time. Like, he be off a lot. But people still believe in Woj. Of course she blew things out of proportion because she always do. This is the problem. She's in there looking for that angle because that's the only thing she has. She can't talk about the game of basketball. You know, she's like, look, I'm not that educated on the game. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit here and talk about, what that shot, and the way he pumped his fist. It was like, okay, I get it. We're playing a game today, but my heart is out with all those people that's fighting and picketing in the streets. It's like, no, he was happy, they just went up 2 and the shot went in, that's what I thought, but I guess it was political too. I don't know. Her interviews are like that. With all the struggles that's going on out there in the world, how do you find peace and balance to keep yourself? Well, when I came in today, I just went in and talked to coach, and was just zoned in. I mean, but it's got to be extra hard with all that's going on in our society and the world today. Yeah, man, shit's crazy. But yeah, I came in, we focused, we did our homework, we played this team on Tuesday, and now, we're back and back to back. So we're ready to go, and it's like unbelievable. Oh, well, just go through when you subscribe to the page, hit the notification bell, go back to the live videos. You'll see the one we did about Brett Favre. We did the Brett Favre video. Sorry you missed it and didn't get a notification, but it's there. You can go watch it right after this. Oh, it was nice. We went in on Favre. Start telling you about things you didn't know. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here because it's time for me to get to my bed, to my game. I'm already about 40 minutes late, so let me get on the road, get out of here. See y'all later. Deuces!